WHAS 11 Weather First.
Well, it is bitterly cold out there, and the snow is continuing to come down here in Kentucky. Anna, you're taking a live look over the Derby City as the governor has already declared a state of emergency for the Commonwealth. Hello, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us here on the Night Team. I'm Alex Dieterer. Meteorologist Colleen Peterson is joining us right now outside of WHAS 11, and you can just see that snow falling. But with the snow comes cold temperatures. Colleen, how low can we expect it to get tonight?
Alex, I'm so excited that it is finally snowing that I forgot it's 9 degrees out, feeling like 0, but we're finally getting the first snowfall. Let me tell you, it is so beautiful. I think right now what we're getting in is probably 1/10 of an inch. It is enough to pull itself together, maybe create a snowball. It is going to be a lot of fun tomorrow morning to wake up with your kids, but all jokes aside, it is going to be a fun forecast, but also very hazardous conditions. I'm talking about very slippery roads. You can see that truck driving behind me, taking it cautious. You can hear that crunch of snow, slippery, icy spots in that forecast. Let's go ahead and look at the radar right now. We are seeing some snow showers. It has been fairly consistent around town. Right now on the radar, southern Jefferson County really has been getting the brunt of it when we're talking about in comparison to downtown. Off farther to the south of Louisville, Bullitt County, I'm talking Adair County, those counties right in between are going to be the bullseye for snow totals when we wake up tomorrow morning. They can see 1 to 3 inches. Areas north of Bullitt County, I think it's possible to maybe get up to a 1/2 inch or an inch, especially if we're already seeing this much at this time. Let's go ahead and update you with the advisory. You can see on the map, we are now all under a winter weather advisory here in Jefferson County that has been extended off farther to the north. So Jefferson County, that includes Floyd County, areas off to the south and surrounding communities, Shelby County. So what that means is we are seeing winter weather impacts. You know, Kentucky is under a state of emergency. I think the impacts are definitely going to be lower here, but it's not 0. What I can tell you right now, if you can avoid to stay off the roads, I would, because the snow is coming down. It's really not lighting up and it's not whiteout conditions. It's coming down at a fair pace. But again, the roads are already slippery and hazardous out there. That's going to be the main concern. Heading into tomorrow morning, I'm going to run back into the studio, get warm because it is 0 degrees out, and talk a little bit more about the impacts with the winter weather we're having. Alex?
Thank you, Colleen. And just like Colleen showed with her snowball, these snow conditions can be fun, but the below freezing temperatures are also a solemn reminder about how dangerous it can be to be outside for too long. Photojournalist Addie Hill and I share how Louisvillians are staying warm and safe during this winter weather.
It would be my hope that all of the folks trying to tough this out on the street would come into shelter. It is extremely life-threatening right now to be outside.
Wayside Christian Mission in Louisville has waved its white flag all weekend as Operation White Flag stays in effect while the temperature stays below 35.
Even though our beds are all full, we will take open spaces such as our dining hall at night, all of our TV rooms, and we will make them into sleeping spaces. We add in floor mats with linens and so forth, and so we are able to take in a lot more people than normal.
Wayside Chief Operations Officer Nina Mosley says the facility has taken in over 100 extra people this weekend.
This is life-threatening. People can freeze to death, they can have frostbite, they can lose their fingers and toes. This is terrible weather to be staying outside and living outside on the street. So it's our hope that they would all come.
A danger Norton healthcare doctors are warning about.
When it's wet and then it's cold outside, that puts us at higher risk of hypothermia and frostbite. So especially for my folks who have to work outside, unfortunately, given their occupation, or maybe folks who have some temporary housing situations, that's going to be really important with these upcoming cold days.
People like Mike Gibson, whose volunteer work at Falls of the Ohio State Park keeps him out in the elements.
Definitely thermals. You know, keep your ears covered, hands covered, you know. As long as we're moving, we should be okay. I mean, I think we'll be safe to stop for a couple minutes, you know, to check out a bird or two. But, yeah, as long as you're moving and then stay bundled up, layers, you know, definitely layers.
Winter weather, while it can be beautiful, it can also be dangerous.
Especially with this tremendously cold weather coming in.
So Wayside makes sure to meet people where they are.
The Good Samaritan Patrol is going out twice a day now in this type of weather, and they go through a path that we have, a route that we have, mostly downtown, to look for people who are out, to encourage them to come in. They also take out coffee, food, blankets, all of those things.
And hope they can provide warmth and safety.
And we hope that they like it well enough that maybe they'll even stay and meet with the case manager and hopefully get on a road to permanent housing.
To stay up to date on all the winter weather hitting our area, you can make sure to download the WHAS11 app. It's free to download in your app store. A person is dead today following a fire in the California neighborhood this morning. Louisville Fire responded around 10 this morning to a home on West Kentucky Street that's just off South 16th Street. Fire officials say the fire was in the basement and the first floor of the house. It took firefighters 30 minutes and 30 firefighters to gain control of the fire. Fire officials say when they first arrived, they searched the home and found nothing. But after they were able to gain control of the fire, they did find one person had died. Arson officials are investigating the cause. Fire officials say with this cold snap, it's very important that people are aware of the dangers as they try to stay warm. Half of all home heating fires occur from December to February, and 1 in 7 home fires involves heating equipment. So make sure to keep items away from space heaters or other heat sources, and also test your fire and carbon monoxide alarms at least once a month. LMPD is investigating after a fatal crash on Taylorsville Lake Road near Hunt Country Lane. Police say officers responded to the crash at around 10:30 last night. Officers say a car was traveling north on Taylorsville Road and swerved into oncoming traffic, then hit a car driven northbound by 40-year-old Arita Lane head-on. Both Lane and the driver of the other car were transported to the hospital, where Lane did die of her injuries. Police say a child was also in Lane's car, who was also taken to the hospital. Keepers of the Dream, a community art celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s vision. The Freedom Award is being given out to Louisvillians who exemplify the ideals of Dr. King while reflecting on past struggles that have brought us to where we are today. WHAS 11's Connor Steffen and photojournalist Aspen Hester were at the Kentucky Center, and they have a look into what this event means to Black Louisvillians.
On the eve of Martin Luther King Jr. Day,
the arts can be a powerful tool to bring much needed change.
Louisville has come together.
Here's a representation, not only the struggle, but the greatness, the resilience, and the joy of what it is to truly be a Black person in America.
Celebrating Dr. King's vision.
And a world where people are not judged by the color of their skin or their religion, but by the content of their character.
Linda and Ron Jacobs are some of the many who gathered inside the Kentucky Center for Performing Arts, who remember the civil rights movement of the 50s and 60s.
Well, I've admired Martin Luther King since I was a young kid. You know, I actually remember starting to watch him back in the 50s.
And watching them talk about Black people and having the freedom of the equalization of everybody else.
Kentucky Senator Gerald Neal also remembers the movement, one he played an integral part in the Derby City.
Ended up in jail quite a few times during that. It was in this general area.
A longtime inductee of the Civil Rights Hall of Fame, he received the Freedom Award during Sunday's event, recognizing work over half a century serving marginalized communities.
When I look at this and when I revisit this, I go back in time and think about where we were then and what the struggle was and where we are now and the struggle is now.
As we approach a day to honor progress, it also serves as a solemn reminder of the progress we have yet to reach.
We still have a lot of work to do as far as fighting prejudice and discrimination. So as we progress, we can get better as we go along.
Even with the problems, it's still getting better. No one can say it's just like it was 50 years ago.
Preparing for a day to celebrate the movements of the past that got us here and the road to progress in the future. In Louisville, Connor Steffen, the WHAS 11 night team, on your side.
The bitter cold weather on Monday is not stopping the annual Louisville Honors for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King visited Louisville often and got open housing reform accomplished in the city before his assassination 55 years ago. Monday will be the 52nd MLK motorcade in Louisville. It will drive around the community starting at 9:30 tomorrow morning, and before that, King Solomon Baptist Church will host a birthday party for Dr. King, and that starts at 5 o'clock in the morning. The theme of the services this year is "Where do we go from here?" This is a theme looking to channel the work of Dr. King himself.
Dr. King led the African American community in bringing interracial relationship. Pastor Elliott is leading us after the divide in the community for a few years. Pastor Elliott is saying, let's come back together.
The motorcade will arrive at the King Solomon Church as the MLK services begin.